Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're well. Sunday it is. Well, there's a bit going on in the news at the moment, isn't there? There's a bit of a nasty thing happened in Peacehaven down kind of Brighton way. I want to play this little piece of video here.
Oh my God.
That, ladies and gentlemen, was a mosque on fire. From the CCTV and other reports I've seen, an individual drove up, squirted flammable lighter fluid or whatever it happened to be in the entranceway and torched the place. And apparently a car went up as well, from what I'm led to believe. Now, incidents like that are happening all too often, and they're all over the mainstream media, and it's wrong, very wrong, whichever way you look at it. And all of this tension, all of this situation is being caused by the very dangerous rhetoric spewed by those in power. I'm not going to play the Labour conference videos again because I've done them to death and I know people are sick of them. But that is the situation that we've got in this country right now. Now, what doesn't surprise me really is the fact that the mainstream media only talk about that. It's all over the place, blanket, wall to wall. Even the so-called new media are only talking about that as well. But what you have to understand and look at is that we are, at our very foundation, a Christian country. So churches, what about the churches? Why aren't they ever talked about? I was sent a very interesting article, and just for some levity on the situation in this video, I want to go through that. And that's here. 9,000 crimes reported at UK churches in just 3 years. So let that sink in. 9,000 crimes. And you can see a picture of a church here with the roof literally burnt off. So let's have a read of this together. So this is the Countryside Alliance published new research showing that on average, at least 8 crimes took place at churches every day from 2022 to 2024. The statistics are sadly no surprise. And now, through no fault of their own, repair costs to fix the damage will be up 20% more expensive for listed churches. Obtaining their figures through Freedom of Information requests, the Countryside Alliance was able to find out that there were 9,148 records of theft, burglary, criminal damage, vandalism and assault taking place at a church from January 2022 to December 2024. The breakdown of this was 3,758 thefts and burglaries, not including 179 lead and metal thefts. That is big business. Wherever you see lead, people are always nicking it, and you can imagine off the top of really old churches. 3,237 incidents of criminal damage, vandalism and arson. 1,974 cases of violence. The results are likely to be much higher, as only 43 out of 45 police forces responded to the request by the Countryside Alliance, and only 33 of these provided figures. So you can see the scale of the problem just emerging there. Churches sadly bear an additional burden after any attacks, as repair costs fall squarely on the shoulders of the congregation and local people to pay for them, explains Claire Walker, Chief Executive of the National Churches Trust. A new roof after a lead theft can set a church back tens or even hundreds of thousands of pounds, depending on the damage, and can take many years to fundraise. Churches all over the UK are already facing an uphill battle as their repair costs have increased by up to 20% since the government made changes to the listed places of worship grant scheme. Repairs, because of vandalism and theft, were already unaffordable for many churches. They now could become almost impossible to find the funds for. If the government doesn't make the listed place of worship grant scheme permanent and remove the devastating cap it imposed, then we're very likely to see even more churches fall into disrepair and close because they simply can't afford to stay open. So you see the impact here of what's going on. And there you go, another church with scaffold up, obviously having work done on the roof. The added danger following this research is that people will see locking up their churches as a solution to prevent vandalism. Now, at the end of the day, a church is an open place of prayer which you can go to, an open place of worship that you can go to. So this is quite devastating. But one of the best ways of preventing heritage crime at churches is to have them open during the day. Professional thieves can easily gain access to a locked church, whereas they will hesitate to enter an unlocked one, as they are very likely to be disturbed. Vandalism has been shown to reduce in both urban and rural areas when churches open their doors during the week. Keeping churches open helps to engage the local community with the building. By far the biggest asset in keeping a church safe and secure is the many eyes and ears of the local people. If a church is open and welcoming, local people will be alert to what is happening when they go past or even pop inside to keep an eye on things. The National Churches Trust has church support officers based in every nation of the UK who provide advice to churches, chapels, meeting houses and cathedrals on how they can keep their buildings safe. This also includes practical tips with fundraising for repair costs and planning advice for repaired projects following theft or vandalism. We also signpost to other organisations that can help. This includes partnering with Ecological Insurance, who are running 2 online training sessions for churches next month on how churches can stay safe and what to do if a disaster happens. The very real implications of lead theft, here from 2 churches that have been supported. So you can see the lead there on that picture of that church right there, and that's what pretty much all of the roof is made up of. So this is Lincolnshire Church. It took 5 years for St Peter in Claypole, North and South Lincolnshire, to raise funds for a permanent roof following a lead theft in 2019. The Grade 1 listed church put a temporary roof of PVC sheeting up until funds could be raised for a permanent solution. But PVC doesn't last, and time was on to raise money needed. Water began leaking into the church. The church was able to complete their roof repairs in 2024, in part thanks to a National Churches Trust grant. If they were forced to wait even another year, St Peter Church told us that it was likely the church would have to be closed on a permanent basis until a safety assessment could be carried out. It's taken a huge amount of effort since the lead theft in 2019 to raise the funds, the significant sums required to repair such a historic building. Told us in 2023, after receiving a grant from us, the impact of COVID-19 on our ability to hold regular fundraising events has made our events even more challenging, and it is a testament to the hard work of our volunteers from all backgrounds and faiths that the community has been able to support the church to achieve this milestone. Here's another one here, St Mary in Great Brickhall, Buckinghamshire. It's all over the place. Was subject to a series of devastating lead theft between 2014 and 2016. All of the lead was stolen, and the church, at a cost, put up a temporary roof until they could raise the money for a permanent solution. What was even more devastating was that the church had already completed extensive roof repairs in 2007. Roof repairs are often only take place once in a generation or potentially longer. This repair bill was £350,000. While they were fundraising, the temporary roof was failing. At times of heavy rainfall, buckets were needed inside the church. The National Churches Trust helped save St Mary's through giving grants to enable a new roof for the Grade II church, which dates back as far as the 13th century. In carrying out the roof repairs, it will mean we'll no longer have to put buckets out each time it rains, shared Philippa Cook, Great Brickhill Parochial Council Secretary and Project Coordinator. A number of ceiling panels are at risk of collapsing, one already having done so each time it's rained during this incredibly wet period. Further damage has been caused to the ceiling panels and also to the walls. Any delay in replacing the temporary covering of felt with turn-coated steel would have increased the possibility of having to close the church and suspend all activities. Churches are homes to parent-toddler groups. Most of the nation's food banks, mental health support and more are the house of good health. Research shows it would cost the NHS at least $8.4 billion to offer this same help. Churches also provide a huge boost to the tourism industry, attracting visitors from all over the world to these beautiful buildings. We want to see church buildings open, thriving and protected. We must all work together for these churches can be kept safe from theft and vandalism. We also need to ensure that there's a proper funding available for churches, some of the nation's most important buildings, so that they can recover when the worst happens and continue to be at the heart of their communities for generations to come. So there you go. There's a whole article there. And just to get the impact of it again, there you go. 9,000 crimes reported at the UK churches in just 3 years. Now, in my mind, those that don't report this are complicit. It's like it's being swept under the carpet. The funding doesn't matter. Nobody needs to know about it. And meanwhile, you get other things plastered from pillar to post all over the mainstream because it seems to be the narrative and it seems to be the thing that's going to wind up and cause the most amount of trouble. Something a bit wrong there, isn't there? Anyway, let me know what you think. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share this around on your socials. And as always, I look forward to talking to you soon. Toodaloo.